Bing Bong is alive, and Pixar has been fooling you all this time. To understand this, let's start with the fact that every child in the Pixar universe has a monster. You knew that. The monsters from Monsters Incorporated enter children's rooms every night to power an entire city, Monstropolis. And Bing Bong, who is Riley's imaginary friend in Inside Out, isn't just an imaginary friend. He's actually Riley's monster. He used to enter her room every night. But don't worry, I'm going to prove this to you, and everything will make more sense. Let's get into it. So, let's go back a bit. We need to revisit Monsters Incorporated. There, we see that through those doors, the monsters can access anywhere in the world. There are no limits. But each monster scares the same children repeatedly. For example, Randall always scared the same children, so every night, the children saw the same monster. And as we already know, all Pixar movies are connected in the same universe. One of the biggest proofs of this is the boy from Finding Nemo reading a Mr. Incredible magazine, Jessie from Toy Story appearing in Monsters Incorporated, Riley appearing in Finding Dory, Colette from Ratatouille on the magazine cover in Inside Out, and much more. So, everything is connected. If everything is connected and Bing Bong is Riley's monster, does that mean he lived in Monstropolis? No! It means he still lives in Monstropolis. I'll talk more about that later. Another interesting thing is, if you look at this scene, what's written there? Leave a like. It doesn't take even 2 seconds and helps me out a lot. We're in this together. At the end of Monsters Incorporated, after all the chaos in the company, Mike and Sully discover that a child's laughter is 10 times more powerful, generating 10 times more energy than their screams. So, there was a big overhaul at Monsters Incorporated, and the monsters were retrained to be funny. But not everyone succeeded, so some moved to other areas within the company, others left, and many new monsters were hired, like Bing Bong. This thing about showing new monsters arriving on the laugh floor is featured in the series Monsters at Work, where it even shows Mike's efforts to test and recruit comedians. And it's a canonical series, set right after the first movie, revealing several other departments and roles within Monsters Incorporated that we had never seen before. If you want me to make a video about the second season, which has already premiered on Disney+, comment below. But the point is, Bing Bong lives in Monstropolis, and when he found out that Monsters Incorporated, one of the biggest companies in the city, was recruiting funny monsters, Bing Bong went straight there to apply for the job and got hired. Bing Bong applied for the job. You subscribe to this channel, and everything's good. Our family is just growing. Oh, and it's worth noting that both Monsters Incorporated and Inside Out were directed by Pete Docter, which makes this theory even stronger. And speaking of Inside Out, the sequel broke several records, and many things I had talked about here happened, like how Inside Out 2 would surpass $1 billion and enter the top 10 highest-grossing films in cinema history. And as usual, every sequel introduces new characters and new places, and what caught a lot of attention is the Vault of Repressed Things, right? There were 5 characters locked up there: Bluffy, Pochi, Lance, Dark Secret, and Bing Bong, who escaped the vault in the first Inside Out. After this video, click here to understand all this better. Well, Bing Bong brought joy to many children, and one of them was Riley. He would enter her room every night, and the two of them would have so much fun and laugh a lot. Riley didn't understand why they could only stay in the room or why Bing Bong only appeared when it was time for her to go to sleep. So, during the day, Riley would see Bing Bong playing along with her, thinking he was really there, but it was just her imagination. And the two did other things besides just staying in the room at night. So in the morning, she had the imaginary Bing Bong, who she believed was real, and at night, the real and comedic Bing Bong. But after a few years, Riley grew up and was removed from Monsters Inc.'s list of children. But if Bing Bong didn't appear at night anymore, how is he in Inside Out with joy? And how is he in Riley's mind, since he lives in Monstropolis? That's the point. The Bing Bong we know in Inside Out is just Riley's imagination. He's not real because the real Bing Bong is still in Monstropolis making other children laugh. So, after you cried your heart out during Bing Bong's death scene, you now discover that the real Bing Bong is alive and is Sully and Mike's coworker. But amid all this, there's another detail. The Bing Bong in Riley's mind believes he's the only one. He doesn't know that he was inspired by the real Bing Bong because he thinks he's the only Bing Bong. So, he believes Riley created him from scratch. But in reality, Riley imagined her comedian monster who only came at night so she could always be by his side. Now, this opens up a huge possibility for Bing Bong to reappear in the Inside Out series, which will even cover Riley's dreams. Remember in the first movie, it shows a little of how dreams are made? Well, in the series, this theme will be explored further, showing the behind the scenes, the entire production team. I'm super hyped for this series and all the other news Disney announced, including The Incredibles 3. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, click on this video. And besides The Incredibles 3, which I just mentioned, Zootopia 2 is coming, but it's causing some controversy, and Toy Story 5 has already had some images released, including the synopsis, which I'll tell you about here. Thank you for watching this video. See you in the next Cine Lovers.